Just imagine this for a second. You wake up tomorrow, you check the news, and the headlines are all saying the same thing. The Islamic Republic of Iran has collapsed. I mean, the government's gone, authority is just evaporating, you're looking at a massive power vacuum in one of the most critical spots on the entire planet.
So, in a wild scenario like that, one huge question would pop up almost immediately. Could this ancient, incredibly powerful nation actually break apart? I mean, could it fracture into a bunch of different countries? That's the thought experiment we're going to dig into today.
Now, the whole reason this is even something we can talk about is that what you see on the map isn't the whole story. On the surface, Iran looks like this one solid country. But the reality on the ground? It's way more diverse and complex than you might think.
Okay, let's really look at this, because the numbers tell a fascinating story. You've got Persians, the group we usually think of when we think of Iran, and they make up just a little over half the population. But then, look at this, a huge 20% chunk are Azeris, and you've got millions of Kurds, Lurs, Arabs, and others. It's a true multi-ethnic state.
You know, what's so interesting here is that this quote really pushes back on a common idea, especially in the West. We have this kind of default setting that a stable country means one people, one language. But the source material for this explainer points out, hey, that's not some universal law. It's just not how it works everywhere.
So, keeping all that diversity in mind, let's run with it. Let's say central authority in Iran just vanishes. What would the new map of the region even look like? Come on, let's take a quick tour of 7 potential new countries that could pop up.
All right, first up, you'd have the core, the heartland. You could call it Persia or Iran proper. This would be the biggest piece, easy, with around 45 to 50 million people. Think Tehran, Isfahan. This would be the direct cultural heir to historical Iran.
Now get a load of this number. Over 15 million. That's how many ethnic Azeris live inside Iran right now. And here's the kicker. The part that's truly wild, that's more Azeris than live in the actual country of Azerbaijan right next door. And yeah, that leads us directly to this possibility. A new state of South Azerbaijan. With that many people and such strong cultural connections just across the border, you could see this region either go for its own independence or maybe even try to unite with the Republic of Azerbaijan.
Then, over to the west, you've got the mountainous region of Kurdistan. Now, the Kurds are famously the largest ethnic group in the world without their own country. So you can bet a total collapse in Iran would feel like a historic opportunity to finally create an independent Kurdistan, maybe even linking up with their cousins in Iraq.
Okay, let's talk about money and power, because this region, known as Ahwaz or Khuzestan, is absolutely critical. It's got a majority Arab population, sure, but way more importantly, it holds a gigantic piece of Iran's oil reserves. An independent Ahwaz could become a super wealthy state almost overnight.
So let's do a quick lightning round for the last 3. Way out in the southeast, you have Balochistan, huge, sparsely populated with a Sunni majority and deep ties to their people in Pakistan. Then in the center, there's Luristan, home to a people who are definitely distinct, but also have been deeply woven into the fabric of Iran for centuries. And finally, up in the northeast, you have Turkmen Sahara, which, no surprise, has a very strong connection to its neighbor, Turkmenistan. Okay, so we've just carved up Iran into 7 different pieces, which of course raises a massive question. If all these different groups are there, what on earth has been holding this incredibly diverse place together as one single country for thousands of years? What is this ancient glue?
Well, the answer is something powerful, but it's something you can't really draw on a map. It's the Iranian identity. It's this shared idea of being part of one continuous civilization that's bigger than just your ethnicity or what language you speak. You'll find plenty of Azeris, Kurds, and Arabs in Iran who, if you ask them, will say, "I am Iranian first." And this isn't some new, fragile idea. I mean, look at this. This identity has been through the ringer. It survived the collapse of massive empires, brutal invasions, endless changes in who was in charge, and even huge religious revolutions. It is incredibly resilient.
So this really brings it all together. It's the core conflict, right? It's like a giant tug of war. On one side, you have these very real forces pulling the country apart, all the different ethnic groups and their connections to neighbors. But on the other side, you have this immense gravitational pull of unity, a shared identity, a shared culture, and literally thousands of years of shared history.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. You take a country like Yugoslavia, right? That was basically a 20th century political project that was forced together, and it broke apart horribly along ethnic lines. Iran is a totally different story. Its national identity wasn't just imposed by some treaty. It grew organically, built by its own people, over a stretch of time that's honestly hard to even wrap your head around.
So where does that leave us? What's the verdict? You've got the clean, logical lines you could draw on an ethnic map versus this deep, powerful, historical force of a shared civilization. Which one is stronger?
Well, here's the bottom line from the analysis. While it's a fascinating exercise to imagine Iran breaking apart, the reality is that deeply rooted idea of a single Iranian civilization is probably the stronger force here. Even if things get incredibly unstable, that ancient glue is likely to hold.
Which kind of leaves us with this one big final thought to chew on. What actually makes a country? Is it just the lines drawn on a map by politicians and armies? Or is it something deeper, something like a shared story, a collective memory that's powerful enough to survive, well, pretty much anything. That's something to think about.